You're about to see now what some cemetery workers have been doing without permission from grieving families. 13 investigators documented the activity at a huge local cemetery.
And what's been caught on camera is now prompting changes. Our senior investigative reporter Bob Siegel says tonight those changes impact hundreds of grave sites.
A light snow at Forest Lawn Cemetery looks like a soft blanket, but that thin white coating cannot hide some big problems.
It's right over here.
Throughout this 100-acre cemetery.
And there it still is.
Problems that Stacy and Terry Bennett have been complaining about for months.
It's just a random headstone that's been laying here since the beginning of December.
That headstone is sitting right on top of the grave where Stacy's parents are buried. The final resting place for Roger and Bonnie Williams. Also, where they recently found the headstone of Donald Merklin and his wife Alice, who passed away about 3 months ago.
This doesn't belong here.
No. I have no idea where it's supposed to go. And they're all over.
She's right. All across Forest Lawn Memorial Gardens, headstones mysteriously placed on grave sites where they don't belong. The Turners right on top of the Brunsons, Hendricks on Sinoir, the Powells doubled up on the Guns, Badgley on Phi, Holton's sitting on Schwomeyer, the Eubanks and Braun headstones literally touching one another, marking the same grave.
I don't know. It's just not right.
It doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand.
And they also don't understand this, how cemetery workers treat grave sites while they operate heavy machinery. Stacy recorded this video a few weeks ago when she noticed backhoes driving directly over Forest Lawn headstones. 13 investigators also saw tire tracks all across the cemetery. Some of those tracks lead directly over bronze and granite markers, leaving many of them warped and cracked.
You don't do that. It's disrespectful.
Drainage problems inside the cemetery have left other headstones sunken and covered in water or mud every time it rains or snows. Not the type of place the Bennetts were hoping for when they laid Stacy's parents to rest.
If you look around, it's a mess. It's unacceptable. It's disrespectful.
Even the cemetery agrees.
Morning.
This is unacceptable.
D.W. Kelly is the new general manager at Forest Lawn. He met with the Bennetts and 13 investigators when he saw our cameras at the cemetery. He said when his grounds crews are digging and filling graves, they're supposed to lay down plywood to protect the grave sites. We did see some areas where that's happening, but Kelly admitted it's not happening enough.
It doesn't always happen where the boards are placed in there. So my goal going forward is to make sure on this property we board in on every grave to make sure the integrity is protected.
As far as headstones dumped on other grave sites,
That shouldn't happen.
Absolutely not. When the grave is open for a burial, the stone is removed and it's set over to the side. So in this case, it should not be right on top of this family's space. It should have been set over to the side, so that can be easily rectified with my crew.
And the cemetery pledged to fix it right away.
It should not be sitting here. Absolutely. So we'll get it moved today.
Good news for the Bennetts, but they wonder what will happen to all the other grave sites that haven't been treated as they should be.
It's unacceptable. You don't treat the deceased that way.
The extra gravestone on the Williams plot has already been removed. The new general manager at Forest Lawn told me he's willing to meet with every family that has a concern so it can be addressed immediately. He also said he's hiring new grounds crew, changing mowing procedures, and repairing broken headstones throughout the cemetery.
Bob, the things you saw at Forest Lawn seem pretty unusual. Are these problems common at other cemeteries?
It's a good question. I actually talked to the Indiana Cemetery Association. The director there says what you just saw is, in his words, problematic and disrespectful. And he says most cemeteries do not do things like that.
Yeah.
What he did say is unusual is the fact that we have not had any frozen ground, which really creates a challenge for cemeteries. All the more reason, he said, that cemeteries absolutely must use plywood or other protection to protect grave markers and the turf until things get a little better this spring.
Yeah, and I'm glad to see Forest Lawn making those changes.
Yes.
Thank you, Bob.
Yes.